Good evening, good morning, whatever it is, where you is. Welcome to 4K4U. That's right. This show was made for you. Welcome, everybody. And for you. Welcome, yes. Greg. How you doing from Fanzine?
Doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing, Tom?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Glad to be here.
We had a hell of a release week this week.
Mm-hmm.
I had a brick come yesterday.
I'm still waiting on my shout stuff. I haven't got it yet, but yeah, it's been a lot.
I don't know if I accidentally flipped on a special day for my Amazon shipping or what, but I got a truckload. But the big brick was the Columbia box set.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That fucker weighs a ton. I was like, Jesus Christ, what the hell did they do? Send me a brick, and then I open it up. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. Of course, they used a box today. Like, I ordered a Gremlins ornament, a month ago or some shit. It was like a Hallmark one.
Cool.
I think it's this year's or whatever. That's why it didn't come out until recently or whatever. Either way, they shipped it in a box that was like 7 times its size. I shit you not. They didn't there was nothing else in the box, nothing to protect it. It was just like, why is this box this big?
Giant 40-gallon box with a little bitty ornament.
Yeah, it really was. It was just insane. But anyway, welcome everybody. We got some regulars rolling in here. We got Humdinger, Sean Stackhouse is here. Your Muslim uncle, Morgan King. We got John Capola. We got Carl's Art Universe. We got Wolf Jeebus in the house. How you doing, Werewolf Jeebus? Kenneth LaGrock is here. Random Brad Creators here. We've got Hitchhiker 42 Coffee Lover. We've got KB, Duck Nation, Gabriel Knight sending us a super chat right off the bat saying, considering the current social climate, I'm surprised Sleepaway Camp with that ending is getting a 4K release and not being buried in the same pit they dumped all those 1982 Atari cartridges. Yeah, I hear what you're saying there. Actually, it was progressive. It's progressive for the time. You're not thinking of it correctly.
Yeah, this is actually heralded by that side.
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually kind of
one
of those movies. You're right. I was half-ass joking, but no, you're actually right. No, that's one of the movies that we're hearing a rumor of. I'm assuming it's probably going to be Shelf Factory releasing.
Yeah, they have done before. Yeah, I mean,
still,
and
the first one's still in print technically.
Yeah, that's what I say, and it's super cheap. It's like it's constantly like $10-12. That's period. It has never really gone out.
Yeah, so I would assume that one. It's the sequels that are harder to get your hands on.
Yeah, I would much rather. I know everybody loves the first one, but I prefer the sequels. I think they're just better, funner movies. So.
Honestly, I don't remember the sequels as much, but I don't think I've seen them since God knows when.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of the rumors right now, and I'm not surprised considering, like I said, Shout has kept that in pretty readily. Even before Shout, it was Anchor Bay that was always releasing it all the time.
Yep.
Does this dress make my ass look big? Says, hey, Tom, not sure if you're aware of Groove Retailer. They have 2 for $32 sale going on with 20% off discount if you sign up, which can be used not just once. Northman, Poltergeist, Lost Boys, etc. for $13.82. Hey, I might have to head over there once I get paid.
Ooh,
yeah, I'm aware of Groove. Actually, they have the are releasing the Steelbook of 8 Mile. God, am I stuttering? Anyway, how you doing there, Valiant? Welcome. Not too late.
No. I knew it was going to be a few minutes. I didn't want to hold everybody up, but yeah, so it's kind of one of those. Let me hit every traffic light on the way home and blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just hearing from. Does this dress make my ass look big? There's a hell of a sale going on, and he just sent us $20. So I might have to use that $20 to buy a Blu-ray with.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, Groove is actually, I believe, owned by Universal. So they actually have some pretty good deals on there sometimes. So I might have to check in there more often. Sounds like there's a lot of sales going on right now, isn't there, Greg?
Yeah, there is. Their Full Moon is still having their sale right now.
Yep, mine got shipped out.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
nice.
I'm pulling. I don't give a shit. I'm not spending $40
Don't blame
on transfers,
me.
and I've never had it before. But I'm like, all right, I can get it for $20 on the website now. I'm gonna send it back to Amazon. I'm not spending 40. Fuck that, because it looks like shit.
Yeah.
And I talked to one of my other buddies at the Digital Bits here the other day about it too. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, that's what the fuck. It's just an upconvert of the old Blu-ray.
It's
like,
bad.
it's a shitty one at that. I'm like, it's not even a good upconvert. It's like, looks like it was shot on home video. Like, what the fuck is this?
So like T2 again.
Worse, man.
Yeah.
Well, not really. Like it. They must have had some intermediate somewhere with some video master. Like it's HD, but there's like a ton of video noise in this bitch.
Our source material was a used rental VHS copy.
Yes.
Which is sad because the Blu-ray actually looks good because I have the Blu-ray, and that's why
it must be from whatever process they did to try to make it look 4K. It adds like this noise to it.
Yeah.
It looks like old video noise. You know what I'm talking about? Like when you'd get two final lines on video and stuff like that.
And I heard some of the color was sucked out of it.
Yeah, it just looks nappy. Like, I don't know. Don't get it, kids.
Yeah, that's why, because I was going to buy it, and like you said, it's like $40-something if you're not buying it from the sale. And I watched Serial Midnight, and he was like, yeah, it's not very good. I was like, okay, I think I'll just stick with my Blu-ray then.
Which is sad because they've got Puppet Master 3 coming up, and I'm like,
yeah,
fuck.
Which is weird. So I'm wondering how that's going to turn
doing
out.
The same damn thing. It's got to be something to do with whatever upconvert they're using.
Yep, it's true. Full Moon is, like we said, sometimes they're hit and miss, but a lot of their Blu-rays are pretty decent. So
what's funny is everybody who's griped about it said I should have known better with Charlie.
Yeah, it's this way it is. I'm glad to at least have the Blu-ray myself. So,
but yeah, Valiant. So how was your day, Ben?
Oh, pretty good overall. How about you guys?
We're hanging in there. We talked about Sleepaway Camp for a little bit already. I don't know how familiar you are with that franchise, but
I don't remember it.
It's one of the latest rumors. It has a memorable ending.
Very.
Let's you remember it if you've seen it.
Yeah, you knew the
ending. But we didn't have a lot of rumors and news this week, did we, Greg? It was kind of a light week.
Not a whole lot. Just it's been very dry. I don't know what it is. I guess we've got most of the stuff for this quarter already in the bag. So
next week we get a bunch of releases. Next week we're getting a bunch of the Christmas releases.
Yeah, like the Transplanted Automobiles and all them, right?
Well, Christmas Vacation and Christmas Story for sure, and
yeah.
The Warner Bunch, and there's a couple other ones coming. Up
that train movie, Tom Hanks with the cold dead eyes of Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
I hate
the one that was
movie.
at my drive-in this last weekend, which is funny because guess what was at the drive-in the weekend before that, Valiant?
What?
Top Gun for like the third fucking time.
Highway to the danger zone.
Why not? Still making
it was
money.
Like the third time at least, if not the fourth, they brought it back there. I was like, did they just forget it up there? No. And that's right, because they had something else up there last time. I was like, no, I remember. And then this week it was Polar Express. So I'm like, yeah.
Polar Express, yeah.
So I could have went to see it in the drive-in last week, but oh well, I already got it in digital. So
there you go.
But that comes out November 1st. Speaking of,
you can actually, if you order that and pre-order it still, you get it Monday.
There is some other special version I saw coming out. I don't know if it's a zombie one or what, but it comes in another steel package. So there's even another one out there. Yeah. Besides the Father's Day edition.
I'll look that up. Yeah. I was noticing the 4K, and the one with both of them. If you order them right now on Amazon, you get them Monday on Halloween. So
I should get mine early, but I already got it on digital, so I haven't watched it again since. But maybe I should revisit it. But no, I watched part of that Super Pets movie.
Oh yeah, with the
DC League. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
Really?
No, it's kind of cute for what it was. Like you got a cute clip with that I've been showing off that is funny because you actually have The Rock voicing 3 characters in one scene, let's say.
That's funny.
Do the math there and you may be able to figure out what characters they may be, but yeah.
Yeah.
Because he voices Crypto in the movie already.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say there's a cameo. And that cameo's dog shows up.
I figure
Yeah.
one of them. Does it ride with Plazan?
I did see. Yeah, I saw. I think I actually
not
saw that
exactly.
clip.
Yeah, Black Adam. Yeah,
Yeah, Black Adam.
He's an anti-hero. That just kind of means like villain, doesn't it?
That was funny.
Yeah, no, it was cuter than I thought it was. I watched majority of it. I missed like the middle portion, and then I caught up with it at the end. But I don't think I missed much. But I'm watching what I saw, but I'm like, Jesus Christ! They managed to get a clip from every single scene in this movie in a trailer.
That's
like that's in the trailer. That's in the trailer.
That's working it.
I don't know how they did it, but yeah. Even the end credit scenes popped up in the trailer. So I'm saying,
well,
it's like I've known all these scenes already. I'm just finally seeing them in their correct order and in the film itself proper. But no, it's kind of cute. It was pretty decent.
That's cool. I'll check that out.
It has a lot of throwback, nostalgic Superman's themes in there, Batman's themes in there when he shows up.
Nice.
The Jor-El scene in the beginning is very reminiscent of the original Superman film. So yeah, no, it was really cute. Cool. And Keanu Reeves as Batman is probably the best part. So that better be licensed or I'm gonna freak out.
Perfect voice, man.
Batman works alone, except for Robin and occasionally Catwoman and Alfred and Lucius Fox. And he just keeps going and going and going.
It sounds funny.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cute. So yeah, other than that, most of the new movies I'm going to save for later on for Greg's show because we're going to talk some spooky films.
Yes.
But I did finally get to watch Fright Night on 4K, and yeah, it was a pretty decent. Not only is that a decent presentation, holy shit, did they pack this fucker to the brim?
Exactly.
The only thing it's missing that I'm like, oh my god, this is the one time I can't believe Columbia dropped the ball on this. It doesn't have the TV cut. Like, that's the one damn time. That's the only thing. They talk about it even in a little bit in the other parts, but like yeah, other than that, like wow, it was just they got all the old special features, the full documentary of You're So Cool Brewster. There's a whole new disc of new special features on there. It's just crazy, and they've got like. They put on the EPK video on there, which has like a couple hours worth of shit, almost like the music video, a bunch of interviews, the Jay Giles band music video.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and being a little bit older scan, it still looks really good.
It's beautiful. I thought it looked amazing. Because
I believe the scan was done in like 2014 or 15, somewhere in there for the 30th anniversary of the 40th anniversary Blu-ray or whatever it was.
Right.
Which that same Blu-ray's here, but yeah.
Yeah, I have that too. But yeah, so skin, I thought it looked really good on 4K. It really made it pop. Yeah, I know it's an older skin, but it still just like really popped on that 4K. Looked great.
Well, Sony does a good job, but I don't know if you picked that one up yet, Valiant. I think you got Dracula though, didn't you?
Well, I got no. I've watched Fright Night. I just didn't watch any of the special features on it yet.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no. The transfer for Fright Night was really, really good. I mean, it's one of those. That's about as good as you could ever hope for it to look. Kind of films. They didn't DNR it to death. Film grain was really nice. The dark scenes were helped out, which there's a lot of them, thanks to the HDR10 and the Dolby Vision. Yeah, it looked great. It really did.
Yeah, even though the Blu-ray came from that same 4K scan, there was an uptick big time in the color.
Well, I think that probably had to do with the HDR and the Dolby Vision.
Big time. Yeah, like especially I noticed when like that one dude's melting in the green. Like really stood out. And the Atmos on this. Oh my God. This is one of those better. Even though I guess they missed a line in that one song, I didn't even notice when I watched it. Like when he's on the fucking roof, it sounds like they actually use the Atmos speakers really well there because it's like up on only in the top. And you're like, oh, that's cool. Because usually a lot of times it's more like extended stuff, and it's like the same type of shit that's coming out of my front speakers is coming out of my upper firing speakers or whatever. And it's like, this time though, like with just a few rare occasions, like when he was up on the roof there, it was just like boom, boom, boom. And this is what I was talking about, Greg, when we were talking about Lost Boys, where I think that would have benefited from Atmos, especially when you got them flying around with the
right, you know,
like that would have sounded really cool if you had all that stuff in the Atmos.
Yeah,
this actually did that kind of stuff. So there's some other moments there where they really separated it. So as far as the Atmos mix, man, it's almost reference quality, which they did a beautiful job on Heavy Metal too. So Sony is actually doing a really bang up job with those Atmos remixes. I can't wait to break into my Columbia box set. Got that this week, Valiant, before you got in here.
Oh, cool.
I was talking about that, yeah.
Yeah, look,
a little
Sony...
disappointed in the movies, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I was just going to say, Sony usually does a very good job with their transfers. They rarely have a legit miss when it comes to thing. And as far as the colors go, I mean, it should be bolder on 4K regardless. HDR Dolby Vision's great, but typically when you go from 1080p to 4K, you can also add 2 extra digits in the bit depth. Usually a lot of times you go from 8-bit to 10-bit 422, and that along with a native resolution in 4K should make those colors much more robust no matter what you're doing. So again, it's just another advantage of that if you got a really good 4K scan. I can tell you it may be, well, I'm going to say it's not my favorite, but it's probably in my top 5 now of just favorite, really pretty 4K scans. And that's Bullet Train. Man, that thing looks amazing.
I can't wait to check that out. I haven't got a chance to yet.
It's a great movie. I mean, every time I've watched it, like I'm enjoying it more and more and more. But my God, the transfer. And that's one of those films that, of course, it was shot digitally, but because of the almost complete lack of any serious special effects, I mean, that was 4K from start to finish.
For the most part, yeah, I did a little research. They did have some stuff they shot on a 2K camera, or 2.5K. But
and
otherwise,
probably
it was on
a lot of those
RE6 or whatever that was.
Well, I was going to say probably a lot of those. Usually, those smaller shots where they do 2.5 or they might be shooting in 6K on the REs and then 4K. Usually, those are on what they call crash cams. They're basically sacrificial Canon Rs or something like that they'll set up, because they know they're going to be in the middle of something terrible happening, or they're going to be squashed inside of a car or something. There's a lot of action in this movie, so it wouldn't at all be surprising that.
Right.
That was some of the shots that was done. Like when he pulls open the bin to find the briefcase that he sticks in the trash can, and you get a shot coming up out of the trash can. There's probably a little small camera in there shooting at 2.5K, it's a bullshit shot anyway.
Right. But nothing you're going to really notice, probably.
No. But it's
not as bad as some I've seen where I've noticed they're clearly using, like, when you get into like, well, this is a couple of years old now, but like where you get to like where they're using the what are those fucking sports cameras they used to put on your helmets and shit?
Oh, like GoPros and things?
GoPros. Where you can tell they're even just using GoPro shots in some of this stuff. I'm like, are you shitting me? That is totally a GoPro
Sometimes
shot.
If they can grade it in, yeah. But usually even if they do crash cams, they want to try to use still a 35mm size sensor like on a full-frame Canon. And the reason I say Canon is because it has been used. Look at Mad Max Fury Road. There were tons of Canon cameras, like DSLR and mirrorless cameras on there from Canon because, just a little tidbit, folks, out there for anybody who wonders on the tech side, the Canon color science grades and matches up very, very well with ARRI. So when they want to blend in a crash cam, they'll usually take, instead of a $45,000, $100,000 ARRI,
right,
they'll crash a $2,000 or $3,000 Canon because comparably, who cares? But they can pull the card out and know that they're going to have a good 10-bit or 12-bit RAW or whatever they're pulling off of there and they're shooting in. That's going to match really nicely with their ARRI Mini LXLFs.
Sounds about right. I can see that. But yeah, no, I thought that was a pretty good scan. And other than that, like I said, most of them I'll talk about tonight on 4K for you. But before we get into anything else, what else we got for rumors and news? Because I know there wasn't a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. Yeah. Did we talk about the King Kong Lives last week on here? I know we talked it on my show.
Yeah, we did, because I ordered it while we were on the show.
Okay, on this one, we did talk about that one. Okay.
Or no, I think we did on physical media. But yeah, no, King Kong Lives. I don't think we brought that up on 4K for you.
Okay.
You're right.
Yeah, I did, because I wanted to bring that up. That's a holdover from last week. But yeah, King Kong Live is coming from Umbrella on a new Blu-ray with bunch of stuff. Comes out in January of next year. So if anybody wants to get King Kong Lives, a sequel to the 1978, was it? Jeff Bridges' King Kong. So
Yep. Well,
yeah.
76, but yeah.
76, maybe. Yeah, I know it was in the 70s, but that's a great movie. But yeah, I like King Kong Lives. It's a little cheesy. Linda Hamilton's in it.
It's one of my guilty pleasures.
Yeah. It's one of those it's not the greatest, but it's a fun watch. So,
Funnily enough, it has better special effects than
it
the first
does.
film. But it helps that it was a decade later.
It was in the 80s.
But like the mask effects and stuff like look a little bit better than they did in the first film, and they actually give King Kong extended arms so he looks more like an ape instead of him just looking like a guy in a suit. So much. And then they turn around and they give him a wife in it, and they give him a heart transplant.
Yeah, big old plastic heart.
It is hilarious. And like you said, you got Sarah Connor in it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who plays the guy in it, but like, yeah.
Yeah, was that Gina Davis's ex-husband at one point, maybe?
It's somebody like that. I'm trying to think of his name.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, they made him more of a knuckle dragger, exactly. Yeah, King Kong Lives was a very misleading title given the ending. Well, he lived after the first movie.
Yeah, after the first one.
Because it does. It picks right up where the 76 movie went. No, it wasn't Jeff Goldblum, surprisingly. But no, Rennie Harlan was the director. But she dated an actor, and I'm trying to think of who it was.
Yeah, he did
somebody else, not Jeff Goldblum, but somebody else.
They did that pirate movie, and it was one of the biggest flops of all time.
Oh, no, that wasn't her husband. Her husband was the director, but was it Matthew Modine? Because he was in the pirate movie. That wasn't him.
I don't think it's Matthew
Modine.
Yeah, that's right. You're right about Matthew Modine. But I'm gonna look it up real quick because it's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah, it's driving me nuts too. I know who it is, and I can't think of it.
I've seen him, and he's got like the Jeff Bridges vibe. They kind of
they're trying to make him look like Jeff Bridges in it, but he's
not him. What is this guy's name? Let's see here. Where's the cast? I see the cast. Show me the names.
Yeah, Stanley. Yeah,
Brian Kerwin.
Yeah, Brian Kerwin. But I'm trying to remember what he was in. But yeah. Anyhow, we wasted way too much time.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Did we bring up adaptation last week? I believe we did.
Yes, with Nick Cage, right?
I got some new information on Rain Man that disappoints me.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not getting an HDR or a Dolby Vision upgrade.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. So, and considering the price on that, and it's MVD's first release in 4K, that's kind of a
that's a letdown.
Bummer.
That's a bit of a letdown. Not gonna lie, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, if that's the case, then they need to cut that price way down.
Mm-hmm.
Take a page from Kino Lorber. They've got a few of those. The Clint Eastwood Man with No Name trilogy, in fact, has no HDR grading on it. Well, maybe the second or third one does, but the first one definitely, or the Good, Bad, and the Ugly, the first one they released doesn't. And in that case, they never, I don't think the price was more than $15 for that one ever.
Yeah, I don't think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, that kind of sucks.
It's a bummer. It's not a deal breaker for me, but it's a bummer because I do have actually a good handful of movies with HDR and that don't have HDR. In fact, I'd almost argue that because I have both versions of Texas Chainsaw now from Turbine. The HDR helps a little bit on the other version, but not that much. But that's not a movie you can really. That is 16 millimeter, and it's.
I was going to say the way it was filmed, it really doesn't lend itself to having much color depth, even from the original negative. Mean, you can't. It's an old expression. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. I mean, you can only get so much depending on the source material. So. And especially if most of that movie was shot, as I seem to suspect that it was, in a higher speed film, meaning it was going to have an inherently lower contrast anyway, even on top of it already being 16 millimeter. It was going to be more gritty and grainy. So there's only so much you can do, kids.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with John Larroquette.
Sticking back in Night Court.
This is based on a true story.
It is coming back on Night Court, but that looks awful.
Yeah, it does.
Because everybody, Marky Post, isn't she gone? And then Harry Anderson's gone. I mean, what do you do?
The only one who's coming back is him, and I don't know if one other person I think is coming back. Other than that, and
I don't know if Roz is still around or not. Or
I think that's who's coming back.
is
but I
it
can't
because
remember.
Richard Mull is? I don't know if he's still around.
He's alive, but
Yeah,
he's not announced for the show yet. But yeah, I think Roz is coming back if she's still with us, if I remember right, because that's somebody coming back with Blair Cat.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not Bull, and it's not anybody else that you would think of. And then
Well, if it's not Bull, well, that was Richard Mull, wasn't it?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, and you've got what's her face from Big Bang Theory playing Harry Anderson's daughter as the
Which
judge.
One?
Not Kaylee Cuoco, but the other one.
I can't think of the actor.
Oh, the other blonde
voiced one. Yeah.
Yeah, Squeaky with the big rack. Yeah.
Yeah, the one who does Harley Quinn's voice from time to time now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She did that crazy movie with Sebastian Stan where she was
I think so, yeah. Yeah, she played Bernadette, yeah.
Yeah.
I can never think of her damn
Where she was a gymnast. That was a crazy movie.
No, not Blossom, not Mayim Bialik. The other
No,
one.
I know.
Well, I
it's
can
her.
never remember her
She's
damn name.
doing Jeopardy.
Yeah.
Somebody will get it eventually in the thing. But all right, anyway, back to rumors and news because there wasn't much else left.
Here's a big one that's supposedly coming in December. I don't think we have a date for this. This seems to be doing a lot of big business amongst horror fans and considered to be the better release of the horror movies. Terrifier 2 looks to be coming in December on Blu-ray. So
no, this is Melissa Rauch, that's her name.
Yeah.
Now somebody tell me, was there a Terrifier 1 or is there just this other movie? Because I can't remember the other movie's name that he started in.
There's one called I think it's called Halloween or Hollow something. It's an anthology, and Art the Clown was one of the anthology things. And then there was a Terrifier 1.
Okay,
and
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Because my buddy was telling me about it, and he was telling me he started in this other movie, but he wasn't specific if the other movie was part 1, even though it was like All Hallows Eve, says Duck Nation. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He was telling me about that, but he never kind of gave me the info. Is there a Terrifier 1 movie? Or did they just jump to Terrifier 2 after that short film?
There's
Right?
There's a pretty famous scene in the first Terrifier movie that's pretty hardcore. I mean, the Terrifier movies I've been hearing shit, and all I could think about is Bill Murray from Scrooge, where he's going, "You can't buy publicity like this," where the old woman dies because Terrifier.
I can't lie. I stay away from modern horror mostly, so you know that too. So
yeah, me too. But supposedly this is being a hit with a lot of people / fans, but it's very gory from what I understand. I've not seen any of them. I just know I've seen the big scene from the first movie, which is for spoilers for anybody who doesn't want to be spoiled. The big scene in the first Terrifier movie that everybody remembers is he takes this blonde woman, hangs her upside down, strips her naked, takes a handsaw, and cuts her all the way from her private area all the way down. All the way down. It's pretty
that's
bad.
The other thing he was talking about. He's like, it's like supposed to be the goriest movie ever. I'm like, well, that's why I never got into Saw, because I'm not into the
And wait, which one is that?
That's
Terrifier
the first
2, the Terrifier 1, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then in the second one, they've been getting reports that people have been fainting and throwing up watching the second one, but they love it.
Well, this would come up on your radar, Valiant, that this movie is doing gangbusters per screening because it's only in only in a couple hundred theaters, and it's doing more money per screening.
We were talking about it Sunday, and then actually Pro did an article on it, I think, on that Park Place after the conversation. But yeah, I mean, look, the whole stories about people were passing out and all this. I have heard the stories of this for every big horror movie that
The Exorcist and Jaws,
with the Exorcist and all that. Yeah,
this is how they sell
even
it, right?
Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah, you got to go see this. My God, people were throwing up and passing out. I heard people talking about that with Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah,
that's the first time I remember hearing about it. I'm like, I went to go see it with my dad, and we were like, yeah that was cool, liked it. I mean, it's nobody was freaking out in the theater. I
always loved Tarantino when he was asked about the heart attack thing, because supposedly a guy had a heart attack during the needle scene in one of the screenings.
Oh, really?
And he's like, I don't know, I can't verify it. He's like, I love the story though, because it reminds me of when Friedkin would talk about The Exorcist, and he's like, somebody passed out or somebody threw up during the screening. Like, well, it fucking works then, huh? So that's my answer. If this guy had a heart attack during the needle scene, well, I guess it fucking works then, huh?
I can see that back at the time The Exorcist came out, because there were very few, if anything's out there that were like that.
Yeah.
Now it's like, I don't really buy it. People
I hope
want to
they
see
put
these
that.
kind of movies. I mean, they know what they're getting into.
I hope they put that on the Blu-ray. Like there was a lot of reactions to the film after they come out. You know, you'd have women that were just freaking the fuck out, and you know, people just like pulled out on stretchers because they passed out, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, people claiming they felt like you know, that they were possessed. Now you even had, there was the most famous one was where the lady tried to get up into the projection booth so she could burn the print because she believed that it was it was it was possessed by the devil.
Oh, God.
Yeah, people went crazy over that movie, man.
Yeah.
But I also loved listening to audience reaction to like Jaws. Like somebody's got an audio tape out there of like one of the early screenings of Jaws at one of the big theaters in like Chicago or something like that.
Oh yeah. Have
Yeah,
you
it's
have
really
you heard the
cool.
one for Halloween?
Yes, yeah.
That's a
I
good
wish
one.
I wish they put those on DVDs and Blu-rays if they have them.
Yeah.
Because that would be fucking sweet to just, because there is a movie that has that, and I can't remember which one offhand. But yeah, it's like you get the reaction from the original premiere crowd and stuff like that during the movie, and it's really cool to hear. Like, you know, they have the scene where the Ben's head pops up in Jaws, and people are just like,
yeah,
freaking the fuck out and shit.
I love listening to those. Those
like
are awesome.
the Kittner boy's death, and you get all people going, oh my god, just like freaking out and shit. It's just like, it's awesome. And Empire Strikes Back, they got one out there from Empire with
I've seen that
father.
one. Yeah.
And you're like, no, I am your father. And then you hear the whole audience just go, whoa.
Yeah. And I
what? You know?
I love the one in Halloween where when he comes in, he starts shooting him, and then he falls off, and somebody screams, "Shoot him one more time!"
Yeah,
I love it.
I love when they cheer and shit. Yeah,
it's so great.
You don't get that too often anymore. And yeah, that's what reminded me of what H2O compared to these newer films. Because I went to Halloween 2018, and it was a packed crowd.
Yeah,
but it didn't have quite the energy that like seeing H2O did.
Yeah,
it's like when she comes out and she screams Michael, and it's that long shot, and that orchestral version of the theme kicks in, and she's got that axe in her hand. Like the whole fucking audience just cheered. And for like the next 5 minutes, it was like a wrestling match, right? Like the whole audience was just like, yeah, get him. The whole it was like nothing I'd ever seen before in a movie like that. It was kind of crazy. And then when she chopped his head off again at the end, it was like the whole fucking, like, it felt like the whole room lifted up, like, because everybody just got up out of their seat and they're like, yeah!
Love that.
Jesus.
Love that.
And I saw the Attack of the Clones in the Orpheum Theater, which is not an actual theater. It's an auditorium. So there was like 2,500 Star Wars fans, but unfortunately the movie let everybody down so much that the energy that was at the beginning when everybody was there, like, went off a cliff by the end. The only time it kind of erupted was when Yoda come out and everybody like started freaking out. And then as soon as he pulled out the lightsaber, everybody cheered. And then as soon as he lit it and started flipping around, it went like dead silence. Like you could feel just the energy just be pulled out of the room, like through everybody's feet. It was just like, ooh, what is that? Yeah, we were all kind of let down by that one. You could tell the whole house was just kind of like,
yeah, that's not what I expected.
Why is he flipping?
Yeah.
Anyhow, tangent. But yeah, okay. So the other main titles we had were Motel Hell 4K.
Yeah, Motel
Which
Hell.
I'm not surprised that that's another short one because they've been releasing that for the last few years.
And
I think their last release of that was a 4K scan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's been pretty cheap too. Usually you can tell, like, when they start getting real cheap and stay cheap for a long time, they're not much longer. They're going to be a 4K down the line, probably.
And Shout will do their own release of it. Yeah.
So there's that.
You ever seen that one, Valiant? Hotel Hell?
Hotel Hell.
It's where they make the fritters out of people.
No, I have not seen that. I think I've seen the Gordon Ramsay TV show by the same name.
It's kind of like if Psycho and Texas Chainsaw Massacre had a baby.
Oh dear God!
And it's just it's one of those movies that doesn't take itself seriously. It just kind of has fun with itself.
Yeah,
it's one of those in that early '80s kind of era. Yeah, no, that one's pretty fun. Who directed that one? For some reason, I There's something about that one I know that sticks out to me.
I remember Calhoun, the actor, the Western guy, but I can't remember the actor in the movie. But I don't remember.
That's not that important. But yeah, that was one of the other ones. What else did we get?
We're getting the Missing in Action Blu-ray box set with 4K scans, but not on 4K from Kino, coming sometime January 17th. It looks like,
because I just bought Missing in Action and Missing in Action 2, and I should have known, because I think I got Missing in Action 2 or whatever it was, or 1, whatever one Shout has, the first one, which is actually really Missing in Action 2. Don't ask me.
Because the second one's a prequel. So
the first one's actually the second one. The second one's actually the first one.
Yeah.
And they released them in that order.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this first one sucks. But the second one you shot was really good.
Yeah.
Because they shot them like at the same time or back to back or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna release the first one, and then we're gonna release, but the first one's gonna be the second one, and then the second one we'll release is actually gonna be the first one, and we'll call it the beginning.
Yeah. Made no sense.
And then we'll make a third one that nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah.
Although that was what I remember on HBO endlessly was Missing in Action 3.
I remember seeing that one constantly.
Yeah, because I think that was where he's really trying to cash in on the Rambo 2 craze. Remember right? Because I think that was even called Braddock Mixing in Action 3.
Yep, it's called Braddock Mixing in Action 3.
So it's just like Rambo First Blood.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can buy it in a box set or standalone releases per Kino. So,
but the fact that it's been scanned in 4K and we're not getting a 4K release tells me who's gonna, or makes me ask who is going to.
Exactly.
But if MVD starts taking over for MGM, what was that deal? Because didn't somebody just really recently talk about MGM signing up with MVD or some shit like that? Because I know we were discussing what would happen now with Amazon owning MGM, because they used to have a deal with Fox before Fox was bought by Disney, and then since between then and now they've been just releasing things mainly through like Shout and Kino, with a few here and there popping up on Criterion, but they've been heavily into Kino until recently with Rain Man coming up on MVD.
Yeah,
that's the one that stands out, and I know they've got a 4K master of Princess Bride because I have it.
I've been waiting for that.
I got
Criterion is the last one they had, so
yeah, I'm surprised Criterion didn't do a 4K release of it.
Yeah,
because like I said, I have the import; it's in 4K.
Now, here's a deal which I haven't been able to confirm. I've only seen the Disc Father. He's the only one to post this, that I've not been able to confirm this. So, but he posted that Lionsgate has licensed 18 films to Kino Lorber.
Yes.
A few will be 4K, majority will be Blu-ray. They will call it Kino Now, and it'll be horror, sci-fi, cult, action, thriller. And supposedly the first big title is The Big Easy. So
yeah, and that's one that I think they did officially announce. So that part is true, but the rest of it, didn't the one dude from Kino verify that though? I can't remember now.
I'm not sure because I haven't seen anybody post it but him. So
I could have swore he did it under either the Big Easy or under Disc Father's post on that, but he's been pretty spot on anyway. So I don't doubt it. Because the only time those guys were really off was with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Right.
And that might have just because somebody was talking about it, but it just didn't go through. Because they did have a conversation, like Scream Factory did reach out. They did try to get Nightmare on Elm Street. It's not like they weren't trying. So that part was true. But no, I'm not surprised by that. That's kind of cool. Not that Lionsgate has a shit ton of movies.
Yeah, not too many good
what they
ones,
do have is some classic titles they picked up from other,
like the Vestron series.
Like the Vestron series and some other ones that are really got me going, yeah, no. But see, that's the thing. They already have their own Vestron label.
Yeah, yeah.
So unless that's not doing so well for them, then I can't understand this move. But then again, you know, I would love to see Monster Squad in 4K. I would love to see Cujo in 4K.
That would be awesome. Monster Squad.
They've got a lot of classic films from a lot of random smaller indie studios and stuff that are fairly well-known titles I'd love to see. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I know something you're really, really excited to get because it's getting yet another release on another steelbook, and that would be Terminator 2 on 4K, December 1st, 2022.
Yes!
Yeah, that's why I brought it up earlier. Here we go with another one of these damn things.
It's like, that's what I said in my tweet. I'm like, how many times are we going to fucking do this now?
Right?
As long as people buy them.
You're gonna keep milking that.
Suckers!
They're gonna make me like kidnap James Cameron.
You're going to fix it, and you're
You're
going
gonna
to
go
like
in
it.
that room, and you're not coming out until I get a 4K master of Terminator, Terminator 2, and True Lies, and I guess The Abyss, because everybody wants The Abyss.
Yeah.
Well, supposedly he finished that. We know he said
Yeah, I
he
know.
had finished
He said
that.
he did. Yeah.
I
The problem
really
I heard though is that he finished that back when it was for a Blu-ray release, and even though it was like a 4K scan, now that's an older 4K scan. Anyway,
Oh
go ahead.
boy.
well, I mean, I thought that interview was from late last year. If I wasn't,
It was,
mistaken.
but that's the thing
Yeah.
is this was prepped years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
They've been
boy.
trying to get him to come in and sign off on these for a while now. That's the thing is it's kind of like with, and this is why I think Oliver Stone and a few other directors have this stipulation on some of their movies. That's why they just release, like, Oliver Stone approved a Platoon. Yeah, it looks like he shot it on his ass. He signed off on it fucking 10 years ago for a Blu-ray, not for the 4K release.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And because I know, because he took a lot of pain with the doors. And that looked gorgeous. And sounded just as gorgeous. And I think he's working on JFK right now. And
Well, for movies at that era, look, the window for maximizing sales is closing. So it's not like you can sit here and stick your thumb up your ass for the next 5 or 10 years and wait. No, you can't.
no.
Yeah.
The generation that wants to buy it, we're now the 40 and 50 some odd year olds or beyond, and we're here and we're willing to purchase these things. But if you keep pushing it off, I think every year that goes by, your market is shrinking. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's only going to cost you more and more to get these things done as the years go on.
Yep.
So with a declining market, so get your shit in gear.
True.
Sure. Less people are going to be buying them as this is something you wanted to talk about maybe a little bit if we had time. And that was the decline of discs in stores.
Yeah.
And stuff, but we may get to that in a second here. But what else do we have for releases before we get to the big
Coming December 20th of this year, for everybody that's been a fan, House of the Dragon will be released on 4K season 1, steelbook and regular standalone editions.
Didn't waste no time on that.
Yeah, that. I mean, hey.
Oh, but I thought Warner Brothers wasn't releasing shit on disc, Greg.
No. I mean, who would ever say something like that?
Sorry, I'm not trying to be a prick. I actually like him, but you know what I'm talking.
Yeah, I know. I know you're talking about.
I'm like, where are you getting this nonsense?
Well,
Disney, you need to hold them to the fucking spigot. Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I think they realize that with the popularity of this show, look, they understand that they have a market, and good on Warner Brothers for realizing, no, most people are going to watch it on the streaming service HBO Max. They're going to rewatch it on HBO Max, but there is a core audience that all they have to do is dump this onto a nice little box set, which at the rate they're going to print these things, it's probably going to cost them maybe $5 per set, because you're going to have maybe 3-4 discs in there, and might cost them $5
If
at that scale, to produce these things. They'll sell them for what is the pre-order, like $60,
Probably 50, $60 or better.
So they know, and I think it's a wise decision to do it. They're not doing this for everything, right? They're not putting out 4K disc instantly for everything they put on HBO.
No, but
HBO
this
Max
is
but
they are making pretty much everything readily available. I think they already did or are doing a Peacemaker release, for instance.
Peacemaker Blu-ray, yep.
And some of their other movies that we had talked about there, where people were freaking out that they weren't on HBO Max anymore. It's like, because they're making them available to other services, and they're probably going to put them on disc.
Yeah.
Right.
They know
that's what
which
Zaslav
audiences
had said. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, they know which audiences are buying physical media. They're not going to take the rom-com series they put on HBO and put it on physical media. Nobody gives a shit. But when it comes to comic book movies or TV shows, in the case of Peacemaker, when it comes to House of the Dragon, they know, hey, look, a lot of the audience that's watching this are still physical media people. They want copies, so we can make it for them. I think they're being very judicious in how they decide what to put on disc versus not.
Yeah.
And good on them. Good on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I totally get behind them on that. And that's why I bought the Super Pets movie. Not because I wanted to or had to. I knew it was going to be on HBO Max.
Right.
But I did. I wanted to support Warner Brothers in the fact that they're doing physical media. So they're one of the few companies I still try to make sure I buy, discs from, unless I really know I'm not going to buy it or watch it. I mean, then I won't buy
I
it.
agree. I agree.
But I understand where Justin's coming from too. $60 for a season.
And I might be off, Justin. I don't know. I saw it was available for pre-order. In fact,
being 4K, I wouldn't be surprised if that's about in line for SRP.
I believe the Game of Thrones season 1 that's in 4K. I think that's still about that price. So,
but you can get a big box set. It's like 100 and some bucks.
150. Yeah. I bought the whole box set. I think last year Black Friday for 129 for the all 8 seasons, 4K. So yeah.
So no, I understand it's out of some people's price range, and that's totally understandable. But that's the thing is, as long as it's available,
$54.97 on Amazon right now. No.
Yeah, so that'd have been a 60 SRP, I bet, or $69.99 SRP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, right. It's not too shabby. Which means Black Friday, you could probably get it for like $30.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember that's 10 hours of 4K content, plus there's probably going to be some bonus features in there, so that's got to be...
Oh, definitely.
Wait, it's 8 discs.
Oh, wow.
8 4K discs. So let me tell you what, $54 for that is
They're
cheap.
maxing out the bit rate, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's cheap. Dude, let me tell you what, and that's the thing is most people don't, the reason why the 4K versions are still more expensive, it's the same process. They're just dumping it down onto Blu-ray or 4K. They're compressing or not compressing. The physical media, I had to do, I did almost 300 discs last year that I had to physically create for a project I was doing. And I mean, the DVDs are, $1 will get you 10 of those things these days. Just a regular DVD. The Blu-rays were at an average of about $1.25 a piece, depending on $2 a piece if you're using the 50 gig dual layers. The 4K discs, I was looking into it. Holy crap. I mean, you're talking about $3 to $4. Now, granted, I'm buying at a much smaller scale than is Warner Brothers, but I want you to use that ratio there. That's why. When you put 8 4K discs in there, even at the scale of Warner, let's say they're paying $1 a disc. That's $8 right there just in hard costs for each one of those discs, even if it's $4. That's what I'm saying. And look, to have that many discs in there, and now there might be Blu-ray discs in there as well, but it's still, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot that's getting crammed into just that season for $54.
Right. It's true. It's true. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, though, especially for fans who want that. So, hopefully they can, if the show's still popular enough for that fan, so they can continue to get the releases of that. So, that sounds about right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of special features. I'm starting to read it now. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Nice. That's always a plus. That's always a win. Special features, big time.
Yeah.
Speaking of releasing stuff on physical media, because there was a little bit of a thing about this, the movie Barbarian that just came out supposedly was not going to get a release. Disney was, the Films at Home was saying that, Disney did not have any physical release date for this. They weren't going to release it. It looks like producer Roy Lee says that yes, he believes there will be a physical media release at some point. There was a commentary track recorded for it. So the plans are in motion. He just doesn't know when. So it looks like it is getting a physical media release if anybody liked the movie Barbarian.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to say that Disney's not going to be the one to release this movie.
I know it is on HBO right now. So.
Yeah, there's that too on top of it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go on a limb and say that how much you want to bet it comes out on like Criterion or something like that?
Wait, I'm sorry. Which movie? I couldn't hear what you said.
Barbarian. Because there's been a bunch of talk of why it's not getting a physical release because Disney owns it. Is it a Fox film or something like that? Is that what it is?
I think
it
might be.
20th Century.
Yeah, something. Yeah, 20th Century maybe. I'm not really sure. I really haven't had
that acquired stuff.
Yeah, I haven't really been in. I wasn't really interested in it, but who knows?
Because I heard a weird rumor that. We already know Disney's when it comes to physical media. They don't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty much checked
They're
out.
done.
But I did hear a slight rumor that I think it's Criterion. With that whole Criterion thing, we might get more. There was something to that, possibly. And I could see this going to Criterion like I could some of their classic films. Because they already have like Armageddon. We talked about this, what, like 2-3 weeks ago when they brought this up?
Yeah.
So like I did hear a little bit more about that. Like I think there is going to be something to that. I don't see them necessarily releasing a bunch of classic Disney titles, but I do see them because it's similar to what Netflix allowed Scorsese to do with The Irishman. Criterion released it on disc, if you remember.
Yes.
And they couldn't release the 4K, but I think they're going to be able to like next year. So like whenever it was a couple years after it came out. So
Yeah, I remember that.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of what's going to happen. And going forward, some of these movies, unless they're more commercial films, they'll release on their own. But like these kind of movies, I could see them allowing like Criterion to release or something.
I could see that. I could see.
You guys get what I'm saying? But
yeah, you're not wrong there. I could see that.
Yeah.
And
I've
that
heard.
might be why they don't know exactly what's going on with it.
Yeah. And it was also another movie too that they supposedly weren't. It's called "See How They Run," starring Sam Rockwell. Was also not supposedly getting released. So I could maybe see Criterion releasing something
That's
like
what I
that.
mean. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that might be the plan. You never know.
Because they have not been paying much attention to any of their. I mean, there's tons of Fox titles that I can't believe they had. Why haven't we got a Die Hard 4K set? Why haven't we got an Aliens 4K set?
I mean, it's
like,
Christmas is almost here. Where's my freaking Die Hard?
I got them in 4K on digital.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
I got the first one on disc, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do too. But I just give me a box set.
I heard with a Vengeance does look good even in digital 4K though. I will
at least the first 4. I don't need the last one.
No, I'll take the first 3 and be very happy.
Yeah, me too.
I think Die Hard, Live Free or Die Hard was actually 2K master, but I'm not sure on that.
Well, at least the first
4K version's the PG-13 cut anyway.
No. Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, there wasn't a 5th one, so yeah, moving on.
Yeah, the 5th one was not good. Kino Lorber is also going to be releasing 3 Days of the Condor from 1975 on 4K at the end of, well, it says 22, 23, so I guess no real confirmed date yet. But yeah, so if anybody remembers that movie from 1975, we talked about Empire of the Sun is getting a release. For 35th anniversary. I'm not sure on the date on that. Did you get the date on that? Because I can't find it. I know
didn't,
Zabby,
but I guess I think it's official because I think Zabby's doing a special steelbook, and I can't remember the date on it. But yeah,
I couldn't find a date, but I did find
that's
that
a Spielberg
Zabby
movie anyway, isn't it?
Yes, it's got what's his name in it?
Christian Bale.
Yeah. Spielberg still, and it's a steelbook by Zabby. So yeah, it's up to pre-order on Zabby. So
no, in Spielberg, I think it's a Universal picture. Because most of his movies are Universal.
Nice.
I'm just taking a wild guess in the dark because I've never actually seen it. It's one of his few movies I haven't seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it myself either, but I do remember seeing Christian Bale in the things, the trailers and stuff. So I remember that. And pretty much, I think the final title I have for you guys is David Cronenberg's Spider from 2002, starring Ralph Fiennes and Miranda Richardson, Gabriel Byrne. Comes out December 13th of this year from Sony.
There you go.
So I've never heard of that one. So
I vaguely remember when it came out on video because I was with the video store at the time, but I don't remember if I saw it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one either. So yeah.
And no, Mega Wing Zero, you have not missed the Frighteners talk.
And that's pretty. That leads us into it. Yeah.
In fact, that's what's all that's left. And no, this is actually a title we heard a little bit before about, or I think we posited with the idea that directors seem to be doing all their films at the same time. And it was what, just like 4 to 6 months ago, we were talking about Peter Jackson, a couple of his films were coming up for 4K. And this was one of the only ones that wasn't mentioned at that time. And I mentioned it, I think, then. And now I'm not surprised. And it would be interesting to see if this is true. This is just a rumor for now, kids. But Justin Proper, speaking of Frighteners, says, I saw the Frighteners once, and Michael J. Fox was great as always. And Peter Jackson did a decent job. I really love the Sleepaway Camp films. Yeah, there you go. Well, it's funny because Greg was saying before the show he actually likes the sequels a little bit more than the original. I don't even remember the sequels.
The sequels are just funner, not. I mean, the first movie is like a little. It does take itself a little serious, and it builds to that big, the big surprise at the end. And the second one and the third one were actually shot, I believe, back to back, and it stars Bruce Springsteen's sister. Speaking of
All I
which,
remember is like she's obsessed with horror movies or something like that.
yeah, well, she's not obsessed with horror movies. She does the Freddy and Jason, so they try to scare her dressed as Freddy and Jason, and then she ends up killing the two kids. The way Freddy and Jason kills, one kid with the Freddy stuff and one kid with the Jason stuff. It's just funnier and cheesier, and it's full on like 80s cheese slasher, and they're just funner, man. They're just funner. But that first movie is a seminal horror film, so yeah.
But speaking of seminal horror films, Peter Jackson's Frighteners was meant to be his first PG-13 film. Didn't work out that way. It was also meant to be a Tales from the Crypt movie.
Yes.
That changed at the last minute too. Well, maybe not the last minute, but at some point in the pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk a little bit more about that later on and on A-rated B movies. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully, I'm curious how Peter's going to tackle this one, because this was his first movie with a lot of CG in it. And for those who don't know, at the time, this was one of the first movies to really use a lot of heavy CGI. It's only 2 years after Jurassic Park. 3 years, maybe.
And everything he created to make these was used for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that he and King Kong later on. But Valiant, are you a fan of the Frighteners, and have you seen it recently?
God. I'm trying to remember the last time I did watch it. No. God, it's been forever.
It's a great film.
Were you a fan of it, or?
I mean, I kind of vaguely remember it. I honestly, I'm trying to. That's what I'm saying. It's been so long since I've watched it. I remember watching it. I remember kind of liking it. It's not one of those things that's been in the repertoire for me in the last probably maybe 20 years. Shit, to be honest with you. But I didn't dislike it. I'll put it that way. It really hasn't run across my radar. It's been a while.
It's a fun movie. It's got such a great cast. It's got Jake Busey, Gary Busey's son. It's got Dee Wallace. It's got Jeffrey Combs, Michael J. Fox, Peter Jackson directing. It's just like this really.
Who's
really
the guy that plays the sheriff or the
chief? I remember it.
What's
but
his
I really
name?
haven't. Let me see. Let me look, because here I'm a visual guy. I take my brain.
John Astin's in it. Yeah.
John Astin plays the old cowboy. Yeah. My ectoplasm's all dried up.
It's got Shy McBride.
Shy McBride, yeah. She was so young and beautiful.
When did 96. Yeah, okay. So yes, I do. I remember. Yes. Okay, so I think I saw that. Yeah, I would have been going into my senior year in high school when that came out.
I actually got some pictures here for.
Yeah, I'm okay. It's kind of coming back, but I'm telling you, it has been a damn long while since I've watched that, because that was like Jake Busey he kind of got big right around then, because right after the next year in '97 is when Starship Troopers came out. He was in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of remembered it being around that same time. And I said, like, Starship Troopers I've kept up because I loved it. But yeah, now I'm gonna.
Well, what's funny is I always thought that this was his film debut, Jake Busey, but it turns out he did a movie with his dad when he was younger, and I didn't know about it. But
really,
yeah,
I did not know that.
But yeah, I've been starting to download these for the A-rated B movies, but mostly behind the scenes stuff here. But
now I want to go back and watch this again, because
it's a good flick.
As I'm looking at these shots, I'm like, okay, it's kind of starting to come back. It's been that long, so yeah.
Freaking Jeffrey Combs in this. My body is a roadmap of pain. It's so hilarious.
You're doing it right now, aren't you?
Yeah. Michael J. Fox really delivers in this. This was like he was making a comeback, and he goes for it in this movie, and he's great.
Yeah, this was probably one of his last big rides, because this was after he was doing oh god damn it, what was the show he was doing?
Spin City.
Oh, this is just before Spin City, I think.
Just before. Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, this was one of the movies
early
that
2000s he was doing that, because I know his health really went downhill.
I was just gonna say, this is right after not right after, but he found out while he was making Back to the Future 2 that he was sick. Mm-hmm. So what he did after that is he picked up like a buttload of movies in a row. This was one of the films he did in a row. But unfortunately, all those movies pretty much failed. Like Hard Way, For Love or Money, this one. The only one that did anything was the American President, and I think that was just a lark because he plays more of a side character in that anyway. But yeah, he had no luck with these movies for some reason. And then he went on to Spin City, and then when he was on there is when he actually told everybody he was sick.
Yeah, I remember that. And that was a great show. That was a very, very well-received, critically acclaimed show from what I remember.
Did Doc Hollywood come in that bunch too? Because if that's the case,
Doc Hollywood, yeah, I remember that was.
I thought that was before Back to the Future 2 for some reason, but I couldn't.
Oh no, that was way after.
Was it after?
Doc Hollywood
that's
was
like 90s.
Because that's the only one then he had that was a hit in between there. Then because
Back to the
Future
Future 2, Back to the Future 2 was what 88,
89, and then 90 was Back to the Future 3.
Yeah, Doc Hollywood was like 90. Had to been like 93, 94, 95.
Really? I didn't know it was that late.
I thought it was. Maybe
it could have been.
I mean, all right,
maybe it's 92 or so. Maybe you're right. Yeah.
91.
91.
Oh
yeah,
shit! Okay, it was earlier than I thought.
On.
Then.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So
I
that's
thought
the
it was
first
late
one out the
92.
gate. But then after that, all of his movies just flopped. It was like,
yeah.
And this one worst of all because it was the most expensive.
The thing is, I still like The Hard Way, The Frighteners.
I do too.
Greedy. For Love or Money.
Greedy, that was the other one.
Yeah.
And For Love or Money too.
Yeah, I love those movies. They're great movies.
Yeah, I love all those too. And Frighteners though is just it was more of a disappointment because I don't know if it was marketed well, and it had such tumultuous trip to the big screen. The short version I'll tell you now because like I said we're going to talk about it on A-rated B movies this week, ironically, and I'm going to talk about it tonight too on Physical Media because I clearly watched it again. But it was one of those movies that started off as a Tales from the Crypt. Then it got changed from that into just a regular movie, but they wanted it PG-13. And then when they put it in at the rating PG-13, they got an R. In fact, actually, I think they got an NC-17 their first time out. And they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I guess because I don't know if they were just being assholes because of the movie that Peter Jackson had done before or what, but
did we have a vagina in it? Did we miss that?
Because I was just the other day when I was talking about this with Script, I'm like, that's PG-13, ain't it? And I'm like, I forgot that it was rated R.
Right.
And of course he was pissed most of all because he's like, well, if I knew I was going to get slapped with an R, then I'd have made an R-rated fucking movie. Because it's Peter goddamn Jackson, and he'll make it R-rated.
Yeah, just watch Dead Alive or known as Brain Dead or whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
Just watch that movie, man.
Or even Meet the Feebles for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Meet the Feebles. Oh my god, that movie's crazy. I prefer Dead Alive though.
So the only thing he could really go back and do after the fact, he's like, well, fuck it then, because he goes, he remembers they got really pissy about the holes being shot in the door. He's like, evidently, shooting a door gives you an R rating. Because the scene where Dee Wallace is blowing holes into the door, like they made him cut a bunch of them out. They only let her shoot once. Yeah. In the director's cut, it's all the times. But
yeah.
So he's like, all right, fine. If they don't like that, we're gonna blow fucking Jeffrey Combs' head clean off.
I love that scene.
So in the television cut has the original version of that, which is he just gets shot in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did in this version is they I don't know if they reshot it or they just used the shot just up before he gets shot in the chest. His head gets blown off, and of course he gets a ghost head and becomes a ghost.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the fact that they're like, fuck it, we're gonna blow his head off with a shotgun.
I love that movie. I just watched it.
They shot in R-rated, but yeah, no, it's a very well crafted film. Mm. You can tell it would have fit really well into the Tales from the Crypt thing. And I think that's the thing that also is kind of like a bummer of it. Is they didn't want it to be a Tales from the Crypt movie because Bordello of Blood flopped.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, well, it has a better chance on its own as a PG-13 film. And then in retrospect, if it had just been an R-rated Tales from the Crypt movie, it probably would have done better. If you think about it.
Probably.
If they would have just had it be that. And then they even considered this, I guess, in my research, not only was it considered as one of the films, they were considering it for a spin-off of Tales from the Crypt. It was going to be a show called The Frighteners.
Oh.
And basically the concept, but it would be a show.
That'd be interesting.
And it would be Tales from the Crypt presents The Frighteners. So then when that all fell apart, they're just like, fuck it, we're going to make it a PG-13 movie. So, Yeah, but the storyline is amazing. We'll talk about it a little bit more later. There's the trivia I got for it. I hope they do a good job with the 4K. My only worry and concern is it has a lot of CGI and a lot of early CGI.
It does. It does.
So that's not going to translate real well.
That'd be that. Like I said, that will be interesting to see. Especially like, I mean, it's like when he's in the beginning and he's flying, and it's sort of like the Freddy thing where he's coming through the wall and stuff. That looks really bad for that time still. So if in 4K, I don't know how that would actually look. That might look. Oh, I don't know.
What's sad is that 16 years after this movie, or 14 years after this movie, when they did the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, the same effect they do in that movie looks just as bad as the
It
Frighteners.
does.
Actually, the Frighteners looks better in some cases.
That's what I was about to
really
say. The Frighteners looks better than that because that looks even worse.
It is horrible.
It is bad.
And I wouldn't even so much call it cringy. CGI is just early CGI, Joey. It's actually well used. Like, Peter didn't overdo it. You know what I mean? He didn't really overdo it. And a lot of it's just to have fun with the ghosts, you know, like them walking through stuff. And all that's it's all kind of done with traditional effects bleeding into CGI, right? Like, for instance, when the cowboy guy, I forgot his name. John Astin's
the judge.
The judge, that's what he was. They don't call me the hanging judge for nothing. Yeah, that's right.
When they lie still like that.
They just lay still like that. Got my juices flowing. Like they show, like in the making of it, you know, how they did that, where he's crawling around just with his torso missing, you know, or just a half of a thing. It's just him on a bunch of blue, you know, stage stuff, and he's got his arms up on like blue mats, and he's just crawling, making it look like he's crawling along. And then they just add the ghost element to him, and that's it. It's done, and they just marry him with the background. You know, it's very simple, classic style stuff. A lot of it would have been done with opticals back in the day. It's just that final step is now done with computer. So I would love it if Peter went back to the original files and recomposited everything with the negative. But I don't think we're going to get that lucky. Because I don't care if the CGI itself looks hokey still, as long as they just try to go back. Because seeing what they did with the Star Trek Director's Edition, going back and redoing all those opticals with the computer now, they look so much better than what they looked like in compositing. And Valiant knows what I'm talking about, because when you're doing the compositing, it's 3, 4, 5 generations removed from the negative, and it all looks, you'll get really messed up matte lines and shit.
You can scan it from that. It's just giving you more work in post-production, or at least if you're putting it on a disc to try to then get rid of that digitally. So, I mean, that's why the guys like Coppola, they want to go back to all the original shit and start with that and work forward, as opposed to let's just settle for this and then fix it in post. You know, the famous last words.
Yeah. I
mean, that's what really makes the difference between what we get on something like The Outsiders and The Godfather and Unforgiven, another great example. Or like we've been talking about some of these recent things tonight coming out on disc. That's what makes all the difference, is going back and taking the time and effort to find the best thing you can, the best source material, and putting in the work to make it what it is. So,
no, I can't wait.
Thank you, Jim Watari. I see out there gifted 10 memberships.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
let's
Jim.
See if we can see who got them. We've got.
Yeah, they're all in chat. We got Stephanie Janizek, Dawn of Mutilation,
Many Dragons, Thanatos Felicitas, Sander Hammerslag is. Oh no, he's just sorry. John Phillips, but Sander's already a member. And Cheese Factor looks like, and LQ3, Ben Peterson, Bast, and Commandant VHS. Did anybody I missed?
I think that was the 10, unless anybody else chatted in if there was any missing. But yeah, thank you very much. And look, we're 2 likes away from 100, folks. Yeah. So make it happen.
You know what? Let's do that, because we're almost out of here. This is the part of the show where, was there anything this week that you picked up, Valiant, you got to watch that you were impressed with? I already talked about Fright Night. So
I don't think anything. No, not this week that I've gotten anything new just yet. I know I've got stuff on the way. Matter of fact, I was just in my Amazon account looking at something. Let me see, because I know there is stuff. I mean, I've got what I'm waiting on right now. Usual Suspects, Smile, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. That's coming later. War Games is pre-ordered. Highlander's pre-ordered. I'm literally just scrolling through my Amazon here to see what has been fairly recent. So, yeah, no, nothing new. But like I said early in the show when I came in, if you guys out there watching have not seen Bullet Train yet, go watch it. It's just, I'll put it this way. That is, behind Top Gun Maverick, that is my second favorite movie so far this year.
Nice.
I mean, it is a blast, and especially it is absolutely 100% worth it. If you were ever going to buy a movie blind because, hey, I just like this genre and I want to support a disc, go buy it on 4K. You will not be disappointed. It's a fantastic movie. It has a fun as hell soundtrack. The colors, the disc looks gorgeous, and I'm going to go watch it again later tonight.
Nice. Well, and also we'll be able to tell next week if Top Gun Maverick is reference quality like the first film was for the longest time for home video file.
I have very high expectations for that, again, because so much of that was done in camera. So
and shot on film too, right?
Well,
or was it shot digitally?
No, it was shot. I mean, it was shot digitally. They had 5 or 6 compact, small format Sony cameras mounted inside the F-18's cockpits, so they could.
For some reason, I thought they shot that on film. I don't know
there
why.
may have been a few scenes in there that they shot on an IMAX format film. That's very like 70 millimeter. It's very
and that's
possible.
right. And the disc, the 4K is supposed to have the IMAX version on it too. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I look, I have very, very, very high expectations for that disc, only because of the way it was shot. There's very few special effects in that. Obviously, they might have edited in maybe some plane explosions and this kind of stuff. But the vast majority of that film was done in camera.
Yeah,
so,
it looked pretty good in digital anyway. So I imagine it.
Oh no, I bought it. Look, and let me tell you what. It just this past week, it actually fell off after 7 weeks. The number one watched at home. It fell to the number 2. Nice. So I mean, this movie has made a shit ton on PVOD, and they haven't even been able to track. And this is from thenumbers.com, by the way, folks. They haven't even yet been able to track the disc sales because it hasn't officially been released yet. Yeah. So I mean, this is one of those films that is probably going to. I think this will be the biggest movie of the year for physical media, bar none.
Yeah.
Nice.
Steven sent us in a a super chat. Says, my favorite part of the Frighteners is the blooper reel where Michael J. Fox keeps calling the judge a dog. Yeah, I remember that. Doc. Yeah, thank you for that, Steven. You were traveling before. Hopefully you pulled over to send that.
Oh yeah, I see somebody mention Running Man. Yeah, that's not too far off either. That was further back in my that was further back in my pre-orders. I only went back a couple of months. Whenever I pre-ordered that, like I pre-ordered Top Gun Maverick back in June.
Yeah.
So I didn't get back to June in my Amazon history. So
yeah, I'd have to go back and look too. But no, Greg, was there anything you picked up new this week that you wanted to?
Nothing highlight? New this week. I'm still waiting on my Scream Shop Factory. Set. I was really hoping I would get here before Halloween because I got some scary movies I ain't seen in a long time that I've been wanting to watch. No, nothing too new. I got Top Gun Maverick coming next week. It seems like it's all next week stuff coming. To be
I'm trying to
honest,
think if I got my Shout ones yet. I know I got Piranha in the mail the other day.
Yeah. So nothing new other than we'll talk.
No, I haven't got my
about tonight. So
no, don't feel bad because I haven't got mine yet either. Because I remember I don't have Bubba Hotep yet, or I'd have watched it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was so really, with Monday being Halloween, I was really hoping to have my Scream Factory delivery because there was a couple horror movies that I had not seen in a very long time, and I was wanting to watch for the season. So
yeah,
that reminds me, I bought Trick or Treat and I forgot to watch it again yet.
That's one I was wanting to get, and I couldn't get it here in time because I was wanting to bring it tonight, and I can't get it in time. So.
Yeah. It looks like Top Gun Maverick and Running Man will be showing up at the house Tuesday next week. So
nice.
We will. Top Gun Maverick, we can talk about it, but I will be far, far more interested to see Running Man, how that looks. That's gonna be the first thing going in that day.
I have the digital version. It looks all right. I did pick up the Limey, but I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, Carl. So I can't give you a rundown yet on that. But hopefully I'll get to that sooner than later. I've been just between work, getting sucked into Dead by Daylight, and keeping up with horror movies.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm getting pretty good as Freddy. I finally won a match. And the fucking teenagers running around, bastards.
It's always the damn teenagers.
Damn kids.
Nice, but I think I'm gonna have to pick up Bullet Train because Valiant has really sold me on that movie. So
it's just it's a fun movie, and that's what I think I loved about it. It's so entertaining. It's zany. It is one of those batshit crazy movies, but I was very satisfied with the way it was written because even though there was so much luck and coincidence throughout the movie, but they wrote the story to fit that. The whole, like, Brad Pitt's character from the outset, he's joking on the phone with his handler about how he's always unlucky and all this kind of stuff. And it's set up well, and it's funny, and it's just, I mean, that's what I miss about movies. You know, just go sit down and watch a movie, enjoy the shit out of it, and I'm not getting preached to or lectured to or anything like that. And
Right.
it's just it's very well done. The cast is spectacular. It's just absolutely spectacular.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Cool.
with that, I think we're going to wrap things up. I'm going to head over to Doomcox for a little bit, and then we got physical media later, don't we, Greg?
Yes, sir. 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, my
Yeah.
time, and that's 8:30, I think, your time,
Something like
or
that.
7:30, something. I don't know.
No, 8:30. And of course, I'm sure Valiant's always welcome if he wants to join us as
Yes,
well.
if
But
he wants
otherwise,
to
do you have
hang out.
anything going on in the near future?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually here I'm going to post a link once again, I think. Well, let me make sure this is the right link. Tomorrow morning, God, this is not normal, but it's not a normal morning. Tomorrow morning, folks, you can find me
Oh, that's right.
live.
I saw this.
You
You're
can
doing
find
an
me
earnings
live.
call.
I'm gonna post it. Yeah, Universal Studios, Comcast, NBC Universal. Obviously, what we're interested in is how much dick wagging that Universal is going to do, because they have a very large dick right now to wag.
Even though we didn't have a Top Gun this year,
Yeah,
we had
no.
several top films.
Yeah, they Minions: Rise of Gru. They had Jurassic
World.
World. Those both made a lot of money. They made even more money on the merchandising side. Disney is very envious of Universal's position right now. Not to mention the fact the theme parks. My God, the only park that is beating Universal Studios is the Magic Kingdom itself.
Don't they got Mario coming next year too?
Mario, Zelda. Oh God. Well, not next year. I think Epic Universe is still. I want to say I think it's 2 years away from completion.
Wait, did you say Zelda?
Yeah, there's a
I
Zelda
thought I
ride
heard something
they're
about
talking
his. No, I was talking about the movies, Valiant.
I'm talking about Epic Universe in the parks.
Oh yeah. But like the Mario movie coming next April.
Oh yeah,
too.
that too. I mean, look, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think they're going to be doing righteously a lot of bragging when they get to that part. Now, the first part of the call likely to be all about the like Xfinity and NBC itself, and
Right.
how many subscribers they have to cable and all this kind of stuff.
Peacock.
Yeah, Peacock. And look, here's what I like, to be honest with you. The way Universal is handling Peacock, they realize and they have fully embraced the fact that they are the smallest kids on the block in the streaming space with Peacock, of the majors, right? Of the people that have their own proprietary broadcast networks. Disney has ABC, Paramount,
Still the
Viacom has
dumbest fucking name
CBS.
in the world. If they had just
It is.
changed their name, Valiant, they'd be
It is, but here's the thing.
back up a spot.
They might do that, because I hate Peacock. I think it's
They could just
stupid.
call themselves "We Got Fast and Furious,"
Yeah, well,
and they get more subscribers.
remember, Universal is still like, okay, yeah, people subscribe to this. We got people to come watch Halloween
Or the
Ends over
Minions
here.
channel, and they get more.
It doesn't matter, because they still have multi-billion-dollar contracts with Netflix and Amazon Prime
I know.
for all their shit.
They're not worried about it. Exactly.
I mean,
they're not worried about it. And they already had the
they're the second
advertising
smartest
model. So yeah.
Yeah, they're the second smartest major studio behind Sony when it comes to streaming. Honestly.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about
I
Peacock.
can't wait to
They
see what they
suckered
say
me into
tomorrow.
a year.
Yeah.
Like $20 for a year. Fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Pay $4.99. Watch Halloween Ends at home. Aren't you glad you did that instead of spending $15 to $20 at the fucking theater for that shit?
That's what I looked
Yeah,
at
I'm
it as, because
glad.
last year I forgot to cancel it, and so I ended up paying for like 10 months.
Yeah, me too.
I
So I'm like,
canceled
fuck it, at
like
least this
the
way
next day.
I saved some money.
And they
I
were
can
much
see why,
happier
Greg.
with that.
Yes.
Valiant was going to go watch Halloween Kills in the theater and pay us $7, half the ticket price. But no, he stuck around for a whole year till his credit card expired. We got $50 off that dumb sumbitch.
Yep.
They
Just
won.
like me.
Yep.
So I was like, you're not going to get me again. I'm paying 20 this time.
Yeah. I'm paying $5. My ass is canceling them because there's nothing else on there I give a shit about.
I got it.
Honestly,
I got the best part of it. I just used my brother's and
There you
watched
go.
it.
But
So
if
I
I'd
didn't
have
pay
been
for
like-
it this
if I'd have
time.
been like that, though, if I'd have actually done the 1 month this time, like last year, I'd have
Yeah.
probably remembered to cancel it, how bad that movie was. The only reason I think I kept it last year is like, I might want to watch it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one was.
But then I got the
it's
4K.
horrible.
I got the physical media and I still forgot to cancel the motherfucker.
Yeah, me too. Same difference. And that day I got it too. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to remember to cancel Peacock. Well, I might watch some SNL.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that, check that out tomorrow morning. That's going to be exciting. And yeah, we hopefully if you get a chance, you'll be able to hop into Mead tomorrow night and give us the rundown on that whole thing too. Yeah,
Tomorrow's Thursday. Maybe. Yes.
that'd be
maybe
awesome
so.
if you could.
Yeah. I will try. It's always every day is an adventure now after school between 5 and 9 o'clock at night because I'm
I hear
usually
you.
in a car picking up kids somewhere.
All right, well, if you can hop in and just give us the rundown, that'd be great. If not, hopefully Friday morning on the morning show. But with that, why don't we check on out, kids? What do you say?
Peace.
Hoorah.
All right, take care of yourselves and each other. Check out these guys' channels and see you on physical media in a little bit.